Elevate Pathways Coaching and Consulting. Dr. Rose speaking. How may I help you? It is that is they're taking their passion and causing that to be elevated. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Welcome everyone back to Elevate Your Vision. But this is also the segment that's going to be for our new Balance to Lead. I am Dr. Rose, your host, along with my co-collaborator, co-host, Liz Joyner. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, we're glad to have you here
Yes,
today.
good day to
Yes,
you.
it is. Well, I just want to say that today is going to be a conversation that is going to be authentic. We believe that it is about something that is so important.
Yes.
You know, when we think about leadership, we think about healing, we think about growth. Today, we want to look at rebuilding our lives, rebuilding our businesses, our organizations, rebuilding with clarity. You know, because you had done a show and it was all about looking at clarity.
Yes.
And so today I want to be able to talk about that, you know, from the business perspective, that business side, and being able to build that life with confidence in addition to that. So we're going to be discussing that, the impact that this has on every area of your life, from personal growth as well as emotional wellness, especially when it comes to life, to business, to leadership. And so, Liz, I'd like for you to sort of help those that are listening today be able to navigate life transitions, emotional wellness, that mindset, and having that confidence to build in business or whatever that they are creating.
Well, I think first of all, we always feel like we're in a rat race or on, the mouse wheel that constantly keeps on going and you can't get off. And I will say you have to pause. Pause and evaluate your life. I think very oftentimes we have to evaluate all aspects of life, and I think that this is one huge perspective on and a big topic, which is balance to lead, because we have to dissect different parts of our life, and I think that that's so important to really take, check, be mindful of the actions that we're taking, and the time that we're spending and our efforts, where are they going, and evaluate, is it really suiting its purpose for what you want to accomplish, because sometimes you really can look and realize that you don't have to work smarter, Dr. Rose. Oh, excuse me, you don't have to work harder, you can work smarter, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Let me clarify that.
Yeah.
Working smarter and not harder.
Absolutely.
But a lot of times we do the opposite. We work so hard.
Oh my goodness.
And maybe not always smart.
Yeah.
So this is a strategy that I think that we need to learn. We need to master it. Because the hours in the day has not gotten longer. Okay, there's still 24 hours in a day and 365 days a year.
Yes.
And that time, it's like the sands of time, the hourglass. It's precious and you can't get it back.
That's right.
So what are we doing with our time? What are we doing with our energy? And what are we doing professionally? Is it filling us? Is it fueling us? Or is it depleting us? So I think that that's what I would first start with, because it's time to reevaluate.
Right. And I thank you so much, because I think that one thing that both Liz and I have discovered, and that is people oftentimes think that they have a strategy, problem, when at the end of the day, or in reality, it's a clarity problem,
Yes.
just not being clear on what needs to do. And so, Liz, with that, when you hear the word clarity, what does that truly mean to you? Just being clear, just especially using an example of yourself, perhaps in doing what you do. How is it that you're able to help, or what would you do in to help someone else to find that clarity that they need, to help them to understand the importance of that?
Well, I think that first of all, what I do is I ask a lot of questions. So, I have to know a little bit about, your life. What do you do as career? Because, let's face it, as women, and we've talked about this,
Yeah.
and we know it very well.
Yeah.
We wear many hats.
Right.
We, juggle many balls, and so sometimes you feel like you're just overloaded with responsibilities and priorities. And so clarity, to me, what I always tell clients is, let's try to simplify your life a little bit. So
Absolutely.
I think that in the time that we do have in the day, you have to try to get discipline to carve out some time. And so it's creating habits,
Yeah.
positive habits, and taking some of the negative habits away.
Absolutely.
And that's really where clarity to me starts, Dr. Rose.
And that is so powerful. I mean, absolutely powerful, because, many people are, as you said, they are juggling. There are many balls, there are many things that they're trying to juggle, while on the inside, they are feeling, and somebody may be listening today where you are feeling scattered.
Yes.
You are emotionally and mentally disconnected. And so, as Liz was saying, clarity will help you to reconnect, and we need that reconnecting to ourselves. And when you've got clarity, that can happen.
And if I could add something
Yeah.
too, I think a lot of people run on adrenaline.
Yeah.
That kind of excitement, that need to, to be everywhere, to be everything, because that has become a habit and a way of life. And sometimes you find yourself that you've been on autopilot
Yeah.
for so many years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what once was maybe your life, maybe your career was so fast paced and you were traveling so much, may be different in the season.
Yeah.
And so you have to also look at slowing down a little bit. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean to, get rid of everything, but just really think about what's priority to me now. And you find that, being still is such a gift, and giving yourself some time just to have time to breathe, and have time to have quiet time, and exercise, whatever that means to you.
Yeah.
I think it's really important, because I have found that in the clarity, as you mentioned, when I've talked to some clients, they tell me all these things that they do.
Yeah.
But I always ask, what if you take some of that away?
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
yeah.
they're just like, their mouth opens like, I never thought about that.
That's right. That's right. And that is such because we are programmed to
Yes.
think that being busy means being productive. And that's not always the case. We can be so busy but still not ever really producing anything. We just got the term of just being busy. And so that is very powerful, because we've got to get out of that mindset and learn that it's okay to just be still, you know.
It is, and I think too another reason, you know, in the environment in which we're in with inflation
Yeah.
and things of costs going up every which way, you know, fuel and groceries, it's valid. It's valid to, you know, produce. You
Yeah.
feel like you have to produce more,
Yeah.
but there's other ways to look at things, and so that's what Dr. Rose is there to help you evaluate from a
Yeah.
business point of view, because you know she's a master at accounting. She won't tell you, but she is, and you'd be surprised, you know, maybe by looking at your budget.
Yeah.
What have you been spending that maybe you can do the opposite, which is save and
Yeah.
reallocate
Yeah.
some funds. And you know, having not enough is a big stressor.
Yes.
It
Yes.
is. And so what is it that we have to do as business women
Yeah.
to, again, working, you know, smarter and not harder, and
Yeah.
finding ways to do that and accomplish that?
That's right. And you know, when you said, even when it comes to finances, you know, we talked about being still. Did you know that when you learn to be still long enough, then you can make the time to assess where
Yes.
you are, even financially? Maybe looking at the books, being able to look at, you know, your checkbook, or your register, your online bank account, or if you're using apps such as Rocket Money, to sort of see where you're spending so much. And that's where assessment, even there, is so important. But when you're still long enough, now you can look at those things and then cut out the things that are not necessities, because we can find ourselves spinning our wheels
Yes.
in things, especially when it comes even in our finances, that we find ourselves a lot of time don't have, because we've been spending in wrong areas, things that we need to cut out
Yes.
and get rid of, because it's not always necessary. You know, people like to eat out all the time. Do you know how much money you could save if you learn to eat more at home? You know, plus it's more wholesome, especially nowadays with all the food that we find, things that's going on outside. But everything in life, when it comes to that business, you know, wanting to be able to create that wealth, then there are things that we've got to be still long enough to make the right assessments and make the right evaluations.
Yeah, and I think that all comes down to one word, really, if you ask me, and that is planning.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
You have to plan.
That's
you
right.
have to plan in your personal, most certainly, to get from point A to Z. You have
right.
to have the business plan.
Absolutely.
Because that is a roadmap, and that's your compass in direction of where you want to go. And if you don't plan, then that's where, you know, some other factors can come in, stress
That's
and
right.
and all of that. And most certainly, you know, we want to try to minimize that, because it causes a lot of things internally that maybe we don't see it in the moment,
Yeah.
but at some point in time. So that's what also we talk about, balancing.
Yeah.
Balancing is so important.
And you know, with that said, you know, we talked about fear. You know, when you talk about creating the business plan, a lot of times people don't create a business plan because they're fear of what they're going to learn,
Right.
what they're going to see, what they're going to discover, where perhaps they are weak in, you know. And so with that, in your experience, Liz, how does fear disguise itself in people's everyday lives, and helping them to build strong businesses, strong associations?
Well, I think that fear can really put a major pause in you. You could be frozen, or you can take fear as fuel, and just, you know, step outside of your box, because you know, do it afraid.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes, you know, you will find that you have to be a little bit fearless.
Yes.
Okay, and try. And worst case scenario, you can fail maybe at an idea, or you think maybe the idea is failure anyway, and then you don't try.
Yeah.
But if you don't try, you never will know. So I think that what I take my clients through is a comprehensive diagnostic of really looking at all areas of life, because that's so important. And recognizing that, I think, Dr. Rose, you would say too, is you want to work within your giftings.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
if I am not maybe called to sit at a desk all day and look at the computer, look at numbers all day, don't do it, because that's not going to make you happy.
That's right.
I know that what my gifts and talents are. I know where I thrive, and so where you thrive and it's exciting, that's where you want to build a business.
Yeah.
Whether it's a service or a product, I think that it has to connect with you. And if it doesn't connect with you and it's too much of an effort, that's a sign.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's so true. And I'm going to say something here, because over the years, Liz, and talking with so many clients and people as a whole, people that I counsel, I consult with, many that I minister to, I'm finding that fear doesn't always announce itself.
That is correct.
It really don't. Because fear can come in many factors, of which I have learned and have had to address, and people get a little bit bent out of shape about it, but fear can come in the form of procrastination. And procrastination to me is a cancer, because it will keep you from moving forward. Fear also can disguise itself in perfectionism. We got to be real careful about that. Overthinking, indecisiveness, constantly putting stuff off. And I'm talking about not stuff that are not important, but I'm talking about putting off stuff that's important. But I have a real heavy pet peeve with those that always want to put off tomorrow what needs to be done today.
Yeah.
I want to start a business, but I gotta wait until I learn this. Procrastination.
And can I add one?
Yeah.
Something powerful just came to me. Taking on somebody else's identity. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Starting a business with somebody else's dream and not yours.
Yes.
That because you're fearful of doing it on your own.
That's right.
And so you take somebody else's interest, if it's a spouse, for example, or maybe a business partner, you kind of morph into their idea, only to find out at some period in time you get burnout,
Yes.
you get frustrated, you lose interest, and potential to lose your time, because your time is money, and also money because you weren't kind of dealing with your own giftings.
That's
You
right.
were trying to solve somebody else's problem.
That's the truth.
And that is something that maybe at that point in time, there was the idea to partner, and you helped, and then it kind of morphed into their own thing.
Yeah.
And you lose sight of yourself, or you lost sight of yourself.
Yes.
I've had many clients like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they can come out with being feeling like low self-esteem, lack of confidence, not being heard, because there's somebody else that is running the show and you're in the back office.
That's right.
But yet you are the way maker, because you make everything work behind the scenes, while somebody else kind of is doing the making the connections and everything, and expecting you to make it all happen.
Right.
So it's successful. So that is a huge typical situation that I have found really kind of stagnates somebody,
Yeah.
and fearful because they don't think that they can.
Right.
And the truth of the matter is, you got it in you.
That's right. That's right. I'm telling you, I had to make some notes. And we're gonna have to create a show all by itself about the copycat syndrome.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Because again, as we mentioned in the very beginning of the show, we mentioned the word authenticity. We need to learn to become our own authentic selves. And that's something that I constantly talk about. Being authentic,
Yes.
how you were created. Listen, we can find people that we admire. They're doing great things. And they can have things that they put in place. And we look at that as like as a guide. But we don't need to copy what they do. It's like if you're in school, you're in college. One of the things I learned in college, if I copy everything that somebody else do on a particular report or writing, then that school is going to find me or remove me from campus, that particular program, and find me as using plagiarism. I have taken somebody else's idea as my own. And then when I'm tested on it, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to fail. And so, Liz, you mentioned something, and all of a sudden, we're feeling like failures. Well, we feeling like that because we've tried to do something that somebody else created what they were called to do. You can look at a person to admire them, but you need to take the strength of what they have and then find out what is in you. What is it that you want to create and allow that to help you to build? So it's important. Because if you are constantly trying to copy someone else's idea, it's not going to work for you. Because that was their idea. That was the vision, that God gave them. Didn't give it to you.
Right.
And so I can't do what Liz do. Liz,
what do I do?
You do everything. You see, now we can bounce off one another,
Yes.
which we are great at that. But at the same time, I can't do identical to what she does. And so, but we are able to help to complement each other. And that's where we've got to get to. And so I want to encourage, if nothing more, this was great that you brought that up, because we have to learn to stop trying to copy what somebody else does. I love speaking. I love teaching. And some of the top people that I look at, is the Jim Rohns and the Zig Ziglars and the Tony Robbins.
Yes.
But I can't do them. I have to do Rose. That's so important. But I can take what they do as a guide in how to build my own coaching business, my own speaking personality. And that's where we want to encourage you all to be, so that you're not walking in fear.
And can I say one more thing too? Stop feeling like you're less than.
Yeah.
Okay? You're more than.
Right.
So by taking that and putting it into your mind, you can do anything that you set your mind to.
Yes.
Now, that's the big test.
Yes, absolutely. And you can, because it's all according to your belief system. That goes back to mindset.
Yes.
The mindset has to be right.
Yes.
The belief system has to be in place. And the confidence, which of course, that is my area of helping, especially when it comes to coaching and consulting with my clients. And that is helping to build one's confidence, because you won't step out until the confidence is built. And I believe that in every individual is a greatness. In every individual, there is purpose. Even one thing, the Bible says that within earthen vessels are great treasures. You are that earthen vessel. There is treasure that is in you. And it's not like anybody else's treasure chest.
Well, and then also one thing that came to mind, have you actually gone on a quest to find your treasures?
Absolutely.
Do you know what treasures lie within you? Do you really know?
Absolutely.
That's a big question mark.
Absolutely.
Because
and for those,
some people don't know.
They don't. And if there's life coaches out here, perhaps that's a part of what you need to put within your plan for your clients. And that is taking them on a journey of locating the treasures that is within them. Thank you, Liz. I
You're
need to
welcome.
add that in my
Treasure
own.
and talents. Treasure and talents.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Talents and skills,
yes.
abilities, gifts. These are treasures. And sometimes you'll discover that there were things on the inside of you, things that I believe that God helped me to be able to see in others, to pull out what was already in there, but nobody else addressed it. Maybe somebody else didn't say anything. But it just takes one person that can give you one word, and it'll bring out what's on the inside and change your whole trajectory of life.
Yeah, and trying new things,
Yeah,
because you'd be surprised within your talents and your treasures,
Yeah.
what that will lead to.
Yes,
That you
yes.
would have never discovered had
Absolutely.
you not been on the journey of you.
That's right. That's right. And as business, owners, if you're starting a business, that's the reason why connections are so important. Because when you have right connections, they can introduce you perhaps to a new organism, a new entity, a new company, a new group. And within those particular groups, now you get involved in that. They have you doing things you never thought you could do. All of a sudden, you're being exposed in areas that you never thought that you would be exposed into. But it was all because of right connection, having the mindset, I'm going to step out, I'm going to do this, and then you find your life beginning to blossom. Things begin to mushroom. Things begin to take off. And now you've come out of the fear factor mode into the purpose driven mode.
Yeah, and also look for those aha moments, those ideas that maybe, I heard this one and I want to share that, because there's so many little nuggets. But I was watching a quick little inspirational YouTube, and it was a father that had just they just went and he had a newborn. And so he was at the hospital and they were about to get out, but they realized that they were missing something that the baby needed. So he went in the middle of the wee hour of the morning to try to find it. He couldn't find it. So that gave him an idea. When he got home, he started developing the business idea, and he developed a baby service for supplies.
Wow.
24/7. And so the idea was born from that. And he's so joyous because he gets to help, people, families. In the middle of the night, he got a call, and it was an emergency. And he was able to go and get that product for the baby at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
And so he delivered it with care, with compassion, because he found his purpose. Service, he created a service that there wasn't in that particular area. He created, a solution and a business.
Wow.
And you know what? Out of all, he said, this is the most beautiful thing, because it has brought him so much joy.
Wow.
Because he gets to help and be that solution in the lives of those parents for just one moment. And that's so satisfying to him. So how many things, how many situations have we come across and maybe have thought, never in a million years would I have gotten that idea? But the point is, be on the lookout.
Yes.
Open your eyes.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you know what, Liz, this was so beautiful. We're going to get ready to close here, but I would say that just like that gentleman, when you help enough people get what they want, and you're doing it from the abundance of your heart because you've got a passion for it, all the things that you ever desired and ever wanted will come to pass. And that's what brings me joy in what I do and have for many, many years. Because for years, even when working in the medical industry from 1978, it was all about coaching, helping others.
Yes.
Even in medical, you're coaching, you're helping people to live and not die.
Yes.
And so I find so much. And so one of the greatest things that, we believe that this session was all about And that's helping people to understand, that even in the midst of confusion, it does not mean weakness. It just means that we need assistance. We need that help, to not carry too much for too long without having a space to be able to process, to be able to heal, to be able to move forward. And so, Liz, with that, do you have any final remarks that you'd like to leave our audience for today?
I do. You know what? If you're out there and you have a dream to start a business, there's no time like the present. There's so many services out there. There's so much resource out there that cost zero,
Yeah.
Dr. Rose,
Yeah.
that you can get the education, you can get a coach to help you.
Yeah.
And Dr. Rose is going to be doing a lot more, in the coming months
Yeah.
that she's going to roll out.
Yeah.
And so, there's an entrepreneurial training
Yes.
that she's developing, many, many things. So take advantage of what is out there, and funding is out there.
Yes.
Don't think that, I don't have any funds to start. You could start with zero.
Yeah.
And you know what? Your thoughts and your actions, that's starting with so much,
Yes.
but zero out of pocket.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I want to encourage you, there's no time like the present to fulfill that dream, even if you start small.
Yeah. Yeah. And small turns into big. There's great things in small packages. Don't despise that. Don't despise the small
Yes.
beginnings. And so today we do want to thank you for joining us here at Elevate Your Vision, as well as Balance to Lead. There are many new things that are getting ready to come out. Please know that we will be launching our Balance to Lead workshop that will be on June the 18th, of which you'll be able to see on Eventbrite to register. It is being announced on Facebook as well as in various other social media platforms. So make sure to look out for that. Registered. Come and hear and learn. And as Liz mentioned, I will be getting ready to roll out entrepreneurship courses, classes, workshops, in addition to AI training for beginners, because we are moving into an area where we are going to move into our best. We're going to move into clarity. We're going to move into a stage of understanding
Yes.
and having identity. So we want to thank you all for being here with us. If this show has been an encouragement unto you, we want to encourage you. Please make sure to like, subscribe, share. Our show with others. It's going to also help to build our numbers. We're looking at reaching our first 1,000 listeners, and you can help us to do that on today. Also, remember to subscribe even to Liz's show with Lifing with Liz. You're going to be so glad that you did. Greater is already here, and the best is still yet to come.
And can I say one more
Yes.
thing?
Yes.
For those of you that are out there that, again, you maybe want some clarity on business or life, give Dr. Rose a little, ping or email or, connect with her. You'll find that 15 minutes of your time of getting some questions answered and her getting to know you is going to be so worthwhile, because that can be life-changing. So I would encourage you to do that. So Dr. Rose, thank you.
Thank you, Liz, for being here. And thank you all for listening today. Please make sure that you check out in the description below. You will see some affiliates that we are connected to. And if, again, to support what we do, how about buy me a coffee? I would certainly appreciate that. And so you'll find the link even in our description box. So until next time, remember to elevate your vision and walk in a life where it is balanced. Until next time, have a great day. Bye-bye now.